meaning that we have to start caring a little bit more about what's going on with our politics. We out here in these streets. As always, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm Christocratican. My politics is just simply common sense, y'all. So I want to talk about the idea of separation of church and state. If you guys have been paying attention to politics, those lines are being blurred by a lot of the liberal ideologies and how the state is now trying to control what churches say, believe, do, who they can marry, who they can't marry. If they can refuse services to certain people, or should we allow people who are blatantly sinning? And I want to talk about that in a podcast. There's a difference between struggling with sin and blatantly sin, because all of us sin. But there's a difference between struggling with it and blatantly doing that. If you're blatantly, you shouldn't be in nobody's pulpit trying to believe anything. And if you're struggling, everybody struggles, right? So that's the whole point of church. Again, if you don't want to live by a rule, why are you living there? Why are you even coming? So that's a whole nother topic. So there's this blending of church and state, and we're not holding to the separation of the church. Now, I believe that because we are a country that was built upon Christianity, I don't think we should never have separated it totally, but we should have made sure that it's just like we always do, that it's not infringed upon, and that religion doesn't infringe upon politics or the rights of people who have different beliefs. Because even at the church really believes in allowing people to do what they do. True church, I'm talking about the true saints. But we are also going to make sure that we're stewards of the truth and make sure that people know the truth so that they can make better decisions for their life. But never force somebody to do something. I've never been to a church, even some of the crooked ones, who force somebody to do something. It was always about, do you want to do this? And then when they said yes, okay, here is the criteria. We have to now, in this day, because politics are spilling over into the church has to spill over into politics, meaning that we have to start caring a little bit more about what's going on with our politics. We've been so removed from politics, where laws have been enacted without even consulting or caring about the rights of those who practice Christianity and or any religion, even Islam, even Buddhism. A lot of these religions disagree with a lot of things, a lot of ways that the world is moving into. And then we're allowing the government to come tell us what our Bible says, or allowing people who don't even believe or live the life that we live tell us what our Bible says and supposed to say. One of the scriptures that they're always misinterpret: do not judge. Don't judge me. Wait a minute. No, that scripture says, do not judge or do not cast conviction. Let me break down the word judge, because the English word has a few meanings for the word judge, and they're synonymous. They're words that can use interchangeably. The Hebrew language is not like that. One word for every meaning. Ancient Hebrew anyway. So in that scripture, it was about the word judge to mean cast conviction, not to make an assessment. Our jobs as Christians is to make an assessment and then bring truth. We are to judge, but judge by the Spirit, meaning when we judge, we're looking at what's going on, we're making that assessment, and then, okay, here's the truth of the matter, and giving that out. The scripture, do not judge unless ye be judged by the same measure, meaning the word judge, meaning in conviction. Do not cast conviction. That's what that judgment means. That word judge means do not cast conviction unless you're willing to be convicted by the same measure. This is the reason why he said, he who without sin cast the first stone, right? If you are blameless, okay, cast conviction, but you're not. That's what he was saying, because nobody is blameless. So that's what that scripture means. That scripture means, so we take that out of context because the world is trying to tell us what we should and can't do, because that's the idea of them trying to silence us. And we cannot allow that to happen. We should always uphold our Constitution, which is freedom of religion, freedom to bear arms, to protect ourselves, the freedom of speech. These are inalienable, I hope I said that word right, rights. These things are given by God, right? And when we step away from politics, we start to lose that. And we've been losing that. And we've been losing that battle. You got now Virginia trying to take guns away, period, in Virginia. And I like to see what happens there when that governor does that. Might be a civil war, right? So, and once that happens and once that goes through, people are going to try to follow suit. And if we really believe that they can take that part of the Constitution, once that part of the Constitution, then there's our free speech. Then there's our free religion. There's our freedom to life. Then it's like, no, we own your life. They already tried to do that with Social Security numbers, right? So what are we going to do, guys? We need to vote the way we need to vote. This is a voting year. So start thinking about the things that you're going to vote for. And let's not vote blindly. Let's vote towards the values that God has given us and that we truly believe in. Hey, if you like this video and more, make sure you're logging on to YouTube, the Wiley Life, also Speak Music Radio, also Cypher on the Block. All those platforms have different content on there. Obviously, Speak Music Radio is my radio station, which my Cypher on the Block is featured on. And there's other content there from BB Talks and a lot of different things. Interviews that we've done at Stellar Awards, as well as on the Wiley Life. It's all the content that I create. And Cypher on the Block is specifically this podcast. Make sure the whole podcast is in full. That's the only thing that's posted on there. All the clips are posted on the Wiley Life. So make sure you're subscribing and pushing the notification bell, because I want to know that you make sure you're supporting. If you like everything I'm doing, support me by going to my Patreon account. That's the Wiley Life Patreon. The Wiley Life. Look that up. Become a Patreon. There's going to be some Patreon exclusive content that are going to be going. If you become a Patreon at certain levels, you will get gifts from my merch store. My merch store. You can also support me that way. If you just want to go get some merch, you can support me that way. That's on teespring.com/stores/The Wiley Life. Make sure you follow me on all of my social medias. That's Chris Conscious on all social medias. That's The Wiley Life and Cypher on the Block. Please, please, please. And we out here in these streets.